Hi Pisces, welcome to your week ahead. So this is going to be from the 16th to the 22nd of December 2024. If you want to book in your 2025, it's in the website, on the website, in the description, comment section. You can book a face-to-face before the new year. There's love reads, audio reads, everything, okay? So I know it's been a while, but it's been a Mercury retrograde, so how are you doing? We're getting through, but yeah. Okay, motherfucking crazy. Okay, it's been a Mercury retrograde, it's been a Mars retrograde, it's been crazy, okay? So like the video and comment. Let's see what's coming up for Pisces this week. I'm going to try to just keep it to this week because sometimes my readings go really deep. So we have got someone here who's kind of going in circles with a person. I think it's a fire sign. So how this is coming up is like either you're going in circles with this person or this is just a person who their life is on repeat. They never learn the lessons. They keep doing the same thing. You keep investing in them. You keep helping them, but they just keep doing the same thing. So it's not a mistake if you do it again and again and you know the outcome. So people say, oh, I made a mistake. It's like, no, making a mistake is when you do something once or twice in ignorance. Making a choice is when you just keep doing the same shit, even though you know the outcome. That's not a mistake, it's a choice. So I feel like the message for Pisces is you're just dealing with someone who, I won't say he's a lost cause, but I do feel like it's someone who just like, maybe you're aiding this person instead of helping them, right? In other words, you need to cut the cords with this person so they can learn the hard way. This could be financially, it could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be whatever, right? I feel like someone is leaning on you, but this person is in a vicious circle, like they're not changing. Some years are dealing with a masculine who's just in a pattern, and I feel like this pattern is like he doesn't want to commit, he's in the same pattern, could be living in trauma, all this type of stuff. Okay, you need to ask yourself, do you want to do this again next year? Because people don't understand that by holding on to certain people, it blocks your energy from meeting other people. So if my heart is blocked by a person who I'm waiting on unconsciously, I'm not going to be open to love coming in. So some people will say to me, oh, I'm going to keep my mind open with this person. And I've been seeing other people and I'm like, you can see all the people you want. If your energy is blocked, if your heart's blocked because it's waiting on this person, it's never going to work out with those people. Okay, so this is where you'll actually meet someone better, but you'll sabotage with this new person because you're still waiting on this old version, this old person, right? So some of you need to think about what you're doing, okay? I did hear for some of you, you've got a future with a Virgo, so I think that there's a Virgo who's fully invested, Virgo woman, Virgo man. If you're currently dealing with a Virgo who's enacting this pattern, then maybe it's time to cut the cords, see if they change the behavior. If not, it's time to move on. But for Pisces, I think it's time for you to choose you. I really do. Strong earth sign energy is coming up. So Virgo woman, Virgo man, Capricorn. I'm getting people who are very unstable within themselves. Like these are people who don't learn the lessons. And this is not judgment. Like some people, self-sabotage is like soothing. They just tend to do it. They just do. But if those people are connected to our life, it can bring a lot of confusion. It can bring a lot of problems. That's you. So the Seven of Cups person is someone who's very confused about a relationship. Where's it going? This can also be someone who this could be you. So what I mean by this is maybe it's time to say, do I keep repeating patterns? Am I in a financial pattern? Am I in an emotional pattern? What do I need to correct? What do I keep repeating over and over again, saying I made a mistake when actually I didn't make a mistake, I made a choice? Right? Remember what I told you. A mistake is where you do it a couple of times in ignorance and then you learn the hard way. A choice is where you just keep doing the same shit, the same type of person, the same way of handling your finances, the same way of showing up. That is not a mistake, it's a choice. It might be an unconscious choice, but it's a fucking choice, right? So some of you this week, you got to start thinking about your choices. Some of you this is cannabis, alcohol. I do think a lot of people are leaning on coping mechanisms because the world is becoming almost unbearable to survive in, from the energy to life in general. So people are leaning on a lot of coping mechanisms. Some people are checking out into delusion. They're becoming delusional about themselves, about the world. about people around them. So I feel like it's a time for you as a Pisces to say, where am I deceiving myself, or who am I allowing to confuse me and to keep me around with very little investment. So I think for Pisces, this is about you thinking about your long-term future. Because that's what you want. Like, a lot of people don't want the lives that they're living. No one really wants to be alone. No one wants to be poor. No one wants to see the same dickheads day in and day out, no matter how much they love a job. They don't. Most people do not want the lives that they're living. They've just learned to live in that pattern. They've learned to accept the fate. They don't want to look bad by complaining, because all you're told by people is, oh, stop moaning. So the point I'm making is, you've got to be careful about people around you who are just stuck in patterns, right? And you've got to be careful with taking on their story as your own. You've got to look at your own patterns and see where actually this is not mistakes, it's not even lessons, this is self-sabotage, this is you're refusing to see where you're living out through patterns financially, patterns emotionally, patterns physically, and they're just leading to a reality that you don't even want. No one wants to be fat. No one wants to be alone. They don't. No, some people might want to be alone, some people might want to be fat. Good for you, enjoy it. But I'm saying the majority don't. But some people might, and if you're happy, I'm happy, right? I think that life is your journey, and some people love food, and some people like the path of loneliness, and that's fine. As long as it's healthy, in other words, as long as you're not out here being fat and then projecting on people who mention that, or if you're lonely, you're not moaning about your loneliness, but actually it's your own fault, right? But I think a lot of people, if you ask them, do you want to be alone? They'd say no, but like, I can't really find someone who meets me, or do you want to be fat? And it's like, well, no, but I haven't got time for the gym, or I haven't got time for a membership, or like, I'm kind of got issues with food. Like, most people would say no, but they're in a pattern, right? So the message for you this week is, there's something about patterns, there's something about, and if you're happy, then you won't be moaning. Happy people don't moan, right? People who like food don't moan about being thin because they love food and they're happy to just go and eat all the food, right? It's when you're pretending you're happy, or you're stuck in a pattern that you keep making a choice in and then moaning about the choice, which is your choice, right? It's these people you see now who are in jobs and they don't want to be there, and you go to buy a coffee or you go to buy a food or whatever, and they look at you like, what are you doing here? It's like, I don't know, I thought this was a coffee shop. I'm sorry to bother you, Dave. The last time I checked, you serve coffee. Now just serve the fucking coffee, make it hot, and stop moaning. If you don't want to be here, someone else does. Someone else would be happy to have the job. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, we live in an insane world where people are putting themselves in situations, and then because they're not happy with the situations they're in, they're projecting all over everybody else. Right? So your job this week is to say, yeah, where am I projecting? Where am I moaning? Where am I saying I'm making a mistake, but I just keep repeating a pattern? There's something to do with you, with emotional patterns or addictions, or this can be a pattern where you constantly check out. This is a pattern of denial. It's a pattern of delusion. Thinking that the way you're currently living is going to bring you health, wealth, happiness, and it's not. Okay, so there's something about you where you, like, I think as we move out of this year, we're moving into a new year, and people can either carry on in the same pattern, or they can think about, wait there, I keep repeating a pattern and it's creating an outcome, cause and effect, right? If I hold on to this person who's keeping me as an option, then I'm blocking off my frequency, because like I said, when you're waiting on the potential of a person, you might see other people, but unconsciously you're waiting on that person, and it's going to block you from finding love. So you're being told as a Pisces, it's time to think about your long-term patterns from the past. In other words, things that you've done for a long time that are keeping you in this reality. Because if you understand that that is a pattern, and that a pattern can be changed, but to change a pattern is to not make excuses. It's to make choices that this is a pattern I need to change. And then when you change the pattern, you change the reality. Right? So, you know, and I feel like a lot of us are committed to delusion. We're committed to potential of ourselves, potential of other people. Fuck potential of yourself. Fuck potential of other people. We want to see it. We want to see it. You've got women and men out here saying that the women and men are God. I don't see you as a woman and a man of God, because when I see you, you don't act in God. You talk a lot of God, but I don't see you acting in God. In other words, being generous, showing up for people, putting other people. That's not God. It's preaching. There's people out here talking about the potential, I could do, I could be. It's like, oh, great. But the reality is you're poor. So are we going to keep talking in potential, or are we going to talk in facts? What is it? I could be, really ripped if I wanted to be. Well, yeah, but your pattern says fat. And if you're going to get fit, you're going to have to change your pattern. So Pisces can be awesome people, but they can really commit to delusion. They can really commit to illusion, right? And I just think by studying your patterns that you've done for a long time, you can see how you give to the wrong people, how you are creating a reality through either ignorance or choice, maybe a bit of both. You're creating an outcome that is not the reality you want. Because that's what I've just said to you. Believe, wherever you're not moaning, you are happy. Wherever you're moaning, you're not happy. Okay? So there's plenty of people who just, I remember someone said this to me because, I've been traveling this year, and someone said to me about Muslim women, and they said, Elisa, these people aren't looking for anything. You're unhappy and not at peace because you're constantly searching. These people have found what they're looking for. They're not unhappy. Okay? So some people, they grow up in a reality and they commit to their thing and they're happy, they're at peace, they found their people, they found their place, they found their person, they've committed to their destiny, and they're very at peace. So you won't see those people moaning, you won't see them sending hate or evil eye or projection, because they're happy. They don't care about your life because they're living theirs, right? They're happy in theirs. But people who are a bit of a mess and then projecting and blaming, it's because basically you're stuck in patterns. And that's what this week is about. You looking at your patterns to say, actually, this is my choice to commit to these patterns that is creating this outcome. If I choose new patterns, I will create the reality I want. So there's something like that. And there's also something about trying to heal another person, trying to change another person. This person is stuck in a vicious cycle. They're stuck in certain patterns of behavior, and it's not your job to save them. You can help them. You can help navigate. You can help, you can try, but you can't save anybody, So some years I do think this is a choice to the people you have around you, the people you've been helping relentlessly, who basically, you're not helping these people, you're aiding these people in weakness, in addiction, in poverty, because if you keep showing up helping them, they're never going to learn to get it together to help themselves. Okay? You're either self-deceiving or you're being deceived by a person. Like, this person is not going to commit, they're not going to change. But they'll keep you around just in case they get lonely next Saturday night, or they change their mind 2 years from now. Right? Most people need to commit to life like they would money. If money was on the table, you'd check that it was the right money. But when your heart's on the table, when your time's on the table, when your energy's on the table, you don't check that shit. We've all done it, right? What I'm saying is we need to stop doing this, right? By getting... Yummy. My tit was itchy, okay? Like, for the men, this is not a signal, it's just it's itchy, okay? Right. But on a serious note, this will really change your life, and you can book a read if you want to speak to me face to face, or if there's personal things you want to look at before the new year. Everything is below. But this in itself will really change your life if you sit there and go, actually, yeah, like, it is my patterns that are creating this reality, nothing else. Like, if I get up and I really study these patterns and start to create new patterns, naturally the energy is going to change, the frequency is going to change, and the outcome is going to change. And you've got this pattern of helping everyone else before you help yourself. You've got this pattern of trying to fix this person at your own expense. And I feel like this week it's time to stop. You've got this pattern of living in survival, living in stress. Most people do. Most people don't realize that life can be pretty fucking easy when you make it easy, when you simplify, when you drop the bullshit within yourself, when you drop other people in your life who are making your life bad, when you make wise choices. So if you find that at this time of the year you're alone, or you find that there's people who just take, it's a pattern. You've learned to give, give, give. So how do you change that pattern? You start taking more. Okay? If you're someone who's always putting other people first, you change the pattern by putting yourself first. New pattern, new reality, right? Right, I just had to pause it because someone was going in the room. Right, so new pattern, new reality. Okay, so there's something for you this week where you're looking at patterns of behavior within yourself, because you can't change the behavior of other people, but you can change yourself. You can look at your own patterns and say, okay, I've got this pattern and I need to change this pattern to create new emotional realities, new financial realities, whatever, right? So I actually think this is a really, really powerful week for you. This is setting boundaries, okay? Some years are just dealing with people who are really struggling in themselves. I think they need therapy. I think they need help. I think they need support beyond you. Okay, the support is not going to come from you. It's beyond you, right? This is other people, professional therapists, addiction coaches, all this type of stuff that can help you. Some of you might be struggling with an addiction. So maybe it's you who needs to seek this help. You need someone who can look into your behavior. They can look into your past. They can help you, right? But I feel like it's a week of the Fool. So it's a week of like being played for a fool, acting like a fool, clowning about, dealing with some fuck boy. It could be a week to have fun though. Like you can see that this is kind of like the Christmas, the fairs, it can be a week to have a lot of fun, right? Because this is what this is like. This is like a circus. It's going to shows, it's meeting people, it's taking risks, it's trying new things, meeting new people by going to random events. That's a pattern. So you can have a pattern of isolation, you can have a pattern of taking risks. Some of you might have been in a pattern of isolation. So how are you going to break isolation? A pattern of risks, taking risks, going to new places, meeting new people, right? But it's time to start thinking about how you're creating your reality, how certain people are shaping your reality by focusing on everybody else, by allowing people to take up too much space, too much time, too much energy, how that is creating your reality. It's time to start thinking like that, right? A lot of people don't care about your Pisces, they care about what they can take from you. Because you don't feel the 10 of Wands around people who care for you, because they don't leach the cup dry. You're not here to save anybody, right? You're not here to convince people to love you. You're not here to convince people to support you, right? They should just be doing it naturally if it's an equal exchange of energy, right? You fell into a pattern where basically you've got players in your life, there's no balance. Some of yours drinking is out of control, spending money is out of control. You've got to get on top of your shit here. And you, like I said, you've got to start thinking about new patterns, new boundaries. Okay, you've got to see how basically you're hurting yourself in your own life by having certain people, by making certain choices, looking at why those patterns are happening. Queen of Wands. When we've got a pattern of running after a person and chasing a person, especially people who are players, it can often be fear of being alone, or whatever it may be, right? So I feel like you need to look at your patterns. You need to think about what you want in 2025. You need to be careful this week with recklessness, because the Fool is someone who's risk-taking. They're sleeping with people, unprotected sex, they're taking God knows what in terms of drugs. You know, this can be taken off the market drugs that can be quite dangerous. They're drinking too much. They're kind of reckless. So this is something about you needing to look at you this week and how your recklessness is creating your reality, it's creating your outcome. Or it can be certain people. Sorry about these kids, they just run everywhere in this place. So it can also be, it can also be what's another thing? You're dealing with somebody who's also reckless, right? And you need to get this person out of your life because the people we're attached to create our reality. You know, and most people like these, like, they're just mouthpieces. They're just, the kids are dysregulated. I was at the mall today. You've got this 2-year-old trying to climb up the fucking escalators. I just don't even know what's happening anymore. I'm like, are these parents or what's happening? They run all, like, they're just fucking rude. So some of years, another thing is that you've just got these people who are just chaotic. They're a fucking mess. They're unregulated. They're all over the place. They don't know when to turn it in. You know, I'm making this as an example. Some of you, it could be you're dealing with this, you're dealing with these neighbours who are just rude and they don't give a fuck about who they're affecting and they're just rude. A lot of people are having to deal with this, so you need to change your pattern so you can make the money to get to a better environment, so you can be around peace, happiness, money, security, if it's love. If you can't love someone who's messy. This can be someone who's got kids to this woman and kids to this woman and he's just a fucking mess. You're not going to find love and stability there. So you need, I don't mean to be rude, Pisces, but I think you need to stop taking on lost causes. Some of you are coming up as a lost cause. Like, stop taking on lost causes and trying to fix them. Okay, it's not your job to save people. It's not your job to heal people, right? I feel like you need to really start setting strong boundaries with yourself, your own patterns, because it's creating not a good reality. There's someone who looks like a fool. It's someone who acts like a fool. It's just an idiot. Like, they don't look funny, okay? And some of you are just dealing with someone who's just like, this guy's 50, this guy's 55, and he's still doing the same shit. Like, this is not a mistake. He's not making a mistake. This could be someone who's cheated multiple times. This is not a mistake. It's a fucking choice. You know? So some people are a mess the whole life from birth till death. You need to start thinking about how the way you're thinking, the way you're spending money, the people around you, all of this is creating your reality. Because I do think that some of you are just sitting there, you're tired, some of you are on your own, you're in a fucking situationship, he's your man in your head, but he's not your man. You know? I think you need to get into the real world. That's the message for you this week. It's like reality check. Like, you need to get into the real world. You need to stop studying everybody else, healing everybody else, fixing everybody else, and you need to look at yourself. Because it's true. Humans are created through patterns. We're created through unconscious behaviour. And I think it's time to look at where you just keep going in circles. You meet a new person, it's the same person. You've got a pattern in money, you've got a pattern in connections. Like, there's something that you need to change so you can get to the life that you want. Because right now, whatever you're doing just feels like a prison. Especially for the Pisces man, you're coming up reversed. It can also be attracting women who just use you, exploit you. But there's a sense here of a person who's acting like the fool, or they're being played for a fool. Or they're around fools, you know? And like I said, if you're watching this and you're happy in your life, this reading isn't for you. This reading is for Pisces who are sitting there just feeling lonely, feeling ripped off, feeling like the life is a prison, okay? You're in a pattern of fear when it comes to being able to go out there and find the job that's going to bring the money that you need. You're in a pattern of fear when it comes to putting yourself out there. You need to look at your deep unconscious. And some of you, it's all about the reality you're living in. That's why they just came in. Nothing is random. It's all about, you've got these tacky ass people. They're unregulated. The kids are unregulated. They're loud. They're obtrusive. They're obnoxious. They only care about themselves. They're disrespectful. And some of you, it's not where you want to be. You don't want to be in these chaotic cities. You don't want to be in the matrix. You want to be living in your own little, you know, sanctuary. Your own. And kids are loud, right? But I'm saying, I've been studying kids and parents a lot, and I'm just like, what's even happening? Multiple times I've went to the mall and there's kids climbing up the escalators, and I mean on the escalators, and people have fell to the death through that. Why? No security guards going over, no people turning around saying, kids, what are you doing? No one. You know, it's just, where's the mothers? Where's the what's going on? You know? You'd have these fucking kids running around till all hours of the night, screaming all over the place. They're about 4. Go to bed. You're a fucking kid. You know, when we used to be young, right, we used to have to be in bed by 7. You wouldn't have all this shit that you have now. It's crazy, right? The point I'm making is people are living in absolute insanity. It's clown world. It's like nothing is regulated. Everything is just stupid, right? And I think it comes down to the adults. So you need to look at where you're playing a clown, where your life is a fucking mess, where it's just like, but it's you've got to get deep within yourself and be like, yeah, I need to pull it together. Start with the addiction, start with the drinking. I need to get out there and connect properly. Get off the fucking internet. Heal me wounds. Start taking life seriously. You know, people who clown about might look funny, but it gets old. And the life never progresses. They never progress. Like, it's just a joke. It's a show. You know? So, you need to think about, okay, am I a mess? Do I look a mess? Do I feel it? Like, what the fuck? Does this person play me for a fool? Am I acting like a fool? Like, you need to ask yourself those questions, because then you'll get the answers. Okay? So, something this week about looking at patterns, especially for the Pisces man. Studying the unconscious, right? Some years it's about a person that you've been dealing with for a long time who's just in the same kind of pattern. This person is just trapped in a pattern, right? Looking deep into this, because it will help you to see that you need to let this person go. So some of you are refusing to let someone go who's just a mess. Like, this person's not going to commit. They've got all kinds of addictions. They look a fool, they act a fool. And you need to ask yourself why you're committing to that. Why you're filling up everyone else at your own expense. Okay? Where you're acting like the fool in your own life, where you're clowning about, where you're not doing the work. If you want love, if you want money, if you want security, if you want to live true romance, if you want to live true success, what patterns do you need to change to get it? That's the message. If you want to book in your own reading, it's in the video underneath. So under the video, there is a website in the comments section. The energy is super intense. That's why I'm like, you know, and then I've just had some twatty little kids. I hate kids like that, you know. Like, my kids just would never act like this in a public place, ever. Ever. My kids would never come to a hotel and be running all over the place and just being plain fucking rude. Wouldn't happen. They wouldn't act like that in a mall. You know, this is the point I'm making, right? The point I'm making is people are just acting stupid, and it's not funny, you know. And if it's a kid that's acting stupid, it's on the adult. When a kid is acting stupid, I never look at the kid, I look at the adult, right? Because the adult is responsible for the fucking kid. I think it's time to take care of business and be like, okay, do I look stupid for the age I am? Are my kids acting stupid? You know, why am I in this environment? Why is me money this, right? People just don't care anymore. And it's not for, it's time to care about your life. It's time to care about how you're showing up. It's time to care about how you're respecting people. It's time to care a little bit about how you're viewed. You know, people just don't care no more, right? But it's not funny, you're not gangster, you're just a tramp. You know, people who are like, I don't give a fuck what people think of me. Well, maybe you should a bit. Maybe just a little bit. You know, you're making a show of you, you're making a show of your children, you're making a show of yourself, you're making a show of your husband. Maybe you should care a little bit, you know? So the point I'm making is, I feel like this week for Pisces, it's time to get in the real world, and it's everyone is a reflection of you. The way you show up, the way you act, the way your kids act, the way your person acts, like, it's all a reflection of you. And I think some of you need to start working on your confidence when it comes to money, and when it comes to because you need to get out. Like, what you're living in just isn't true to you. It's not going to bring peace. It's just idiots. Like, remember what I said to you, some people, they're a mess, then they create kids, then they just become the same mess. They create kids and then they become the same mess, right? It's time to think about how your life is affecting your children, how the man is affecting you. Everything is connected. But I think some of you, it's all about looking at your patterns so you can build money, you can build love, you can build success in the next year. Because honestly, right now, for some of the Pisces, you're going to be sitting there going, she's spot on. Like, I'm a fucking mess. And like I said, what I'm observing is people who think they're funny. If you knew how people think about you, how they feel about you, how they look at you, funny is not what they think. They feel sorry for you. Like, they just think you're a joke. You know? Your whole behaviour, your whole arrogance, like, there's no respect there. I think it's time to pull yourself up and start respecting yourself, and to start being aware that we're all connected and we all affect each other. And that what you do, especially if you've got kids, affects your kids, and then that'll affect their kids. It's time to look at deep patterns for yous, and I think it's going to be amazing for some of yous. How you keep falling in love with the same type of person, how you keep doing the same kind of thing, how you keep just doing the same shit, right? It's time to think about it, because it's creating your destiny, it's creating your happiness, it's creating your outcome, it's creating your legacy. Like I said, you would never see my kids act the way these fucking kids act. I know they're young, yeah, they're excited. I'm not disputing that, but it's our job as adults to be like, this is not appropriate. Calm down. Get order in the life, right? Because we're there for that. Even me today, I was like that with the kids. I was like, stop doing that on the escalators, because I was worried about them. Because it just takes a minute for them to go up the escalator, and they're just gonna go fuck right back down. They could die. It's crazy. Okay. So think about what I said. This was long-winded, but for the Pisces who got this far, I think it will really help. Look at your patterns and think about how they're creating your reality and your outcome. And start taking yourself seriously. I think a lot of people feel pride to be like, act like dickheads. Yeah, we'll see if that's the case in 20 years. It's time to respect yourself. It's time to get serious about your life and to make sure other people are taking you serious as well. Enjoy your read, and I'll speak to you soon.